Are you concerned that it may get a test unlike any other if Donald Trump is reelected? I mean, when you think about a second Trump administration, what do you think the implications would be for the FBI?
Oh, serious, for the Justice Department and the FBI, because Trump is coming for those institutions. He knows their power, and I think he has regrets that he didn't work hard enough to corrupt them last time. So he's coming for them, and that's a danger for all Americans. He's going to put people in positions in those organizations. He didn't have all-stars the last time. He'll have the bottom of the barrel this time, but people who will want to do his will, and that should worry every American. This election matters. Because of a reason like that, people have to participate. You cannot sit on the sideline. I don't care how you feel about Joe Biden, you must vote for him because the consequences on the other side are too severe.
Well, there's James Comey just pleading with you, do not let Donald Trump win. Don't let him win. What's at stake at the FBI? Well, maybe we're about to find out because it looks like the Kash Patel, FBI director now, is going to look into some of the things that took place in the past. And maybe that's bad for James Comey. Maybe it's not. There are people looking into this, and we wanted to speak to a reporter with the Washington Times. Kerry Picket joins us now, and Kerry has written an article about the FBI looking into James Comey, and I can't wait to hear the story, Kerry, of what you've discovered so far. The White House correspondent for Washington Times. We appreciate you being with us here today, Kerry. Thanks for the time.
Thanks for having me, Annie. Yeah, I'd like to, point out that this is a story that I originally broke back in October, and not just October, but October 29th.
Ooh.
Okay, and when was that? That was about 6 days before the election. So while a lot of people on X and a few people here and there picked it up, not a lot of people really knew that it was out there. So the big change that really happened yesterday was the fact that we had the weaponization hearing that happened up on Capitol Hill, and you had Kash Patel, of course, he's the new FBI director, and then you had Dan Bongino, the new deputy director. So everyone's like, what is he going to do first? What is he going to do first? And all of a sudden, I say, oh, by the way, I'm hearing all of a sudden that we had this honeypot off the books operation that I reported back in October that was launched by Comey back in 2015. This predated Crossfire Hurricane. That was the Russia collusion investigation. That was 1 year later. Well, you had Crossfire. You had this 1 year before that. This other investigation that was launched by James Comey, looking for something on Trump, anything on Trump that was launched by his team that was not put into the computer system, and they said, hey, let's send some honeypots into his campaign and just find anything on him. And some people say, well, hey, he was in charge of the FBI, he can do that. No, he can't do that because there has to be some sort of predicated circumstances to launch an investigation into anybody, and at the time there wasn't. So now we are finding out that Kash Patel is interested in looking into that particular off-the-books operation. Now, is it an official investigation? Probably not, but they are interested in it.
Oh, man. Kerry Picket here with the Washington Times. So there's a couple parts of what you've just said there that I want to flush out a little bit more for people who might not be as fully aware of some of the vocabulary that we're talking about here. And the particular point that you said, they weren't sending these people in to investigate a specific crime. It was more of a fishing expedition, which you highlight in your article on the Washington Times. When you say honeypot, that James Comey was putting together this honeypot mission, what does that look like?
Okay. A honeypot, let me just properly define that. Commonly refers to an undercover operative. Usually it's a woman, of course. Yeah, it can be that can mean anything these days. Who feigns a sexual or a romantic interest to get information from a target. Okay, we've seen that all the time in James Bond movies. Okay, and generally speaking, what we found here in this off the books investigation. And by the way, in these new disclosures that were just dropped off to the Senate side, one of the whistleblowers didn't even want to call it an investigation that was launched by Comey. They are describing it as a scheme. Okay, and yet now that there's not just one FBI whistleblower, there are many whistleblowers now that are calling out James Comey. And what is interesting here is that we are now finding out that one of the honeypots wasn't just a honeypot, but was also a handler of the undercover agents. So this is a very interesting development. I have a new story out today. Definitely go check it out at WashingtonTimes.com. And what we're finding out here is that this particular honeypot was also a handler of maybe perhaps other undercover agents who attempted, and perhaps successfully, to infiltrate Donald Trump's 2016 campaign. And that is a very interesting development here. Also, the first whistleblower tried to, inform. You had a special counsel, John Durham, and when this whistleblower told John Durham, the FBI found out about it and ended up retaliating against this whistleblower. And not only that, but John Durham ignored this whistleblower and didn't include this whistleblower's information about this illegal operation in his report.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I'm really glad we were able to connect with you on this story because you've obviously been way ahead of it, reporting on it even before the election took place last year. We're speaking with Kerry Picket. She's a senior congressional reporter for the Washington Times. I think that this is something that certainly has a lot of interest. It's going to have a lot of legs. And you're telling me, I'm reading here in your article that's on the Washington Times, you said the whistleblower agent, quote, personally knew, end quote, that Mr. Comey ordered an FBI investigation into Mr. Trump and that Mr. Comey, quote, personally directed it, end quote, according to the disclosure. So it seems as though there's going to be a lot to discover, to draw out with this investigation that will come from Kash Patel as he leads the FBI. Do you expect a lot of this information to be made public quickly?
Probably, I don't even know the timeline on this. I think right now you still have, it's only been a few days since Kash Patel was sworn in. It's only been a few days since Dan Bongino became deputy director. So, right now you have Senator Grassley's office, just got the new disclosure. So let's give it some time and see where it leads right now. But I would imagine that you have Donald Trump definitely wants to know who these people are, because ultimately people need to know that the FBI culture still has old hands, old senior executives who are loyal to James Comey, who are loyal to former Deputy Director Paul Abate, as well as former Deputy Director Andy McCabe, and former Director Christopher Wray. People can say, yay, we have Patel in there, we have Bongino, but the culture is still entrenched with the old leadership. And they're going to have to deal with that first.
Well, the number one way, in my opinion, that this gets dramatically, quickly changed for everybody's good, the American people's good, is if journalists like you, Kerry, are able to look into this, expose it, report on it so the American people can have their say. And I'm really grateful to talk to you. I hope that you'll come back on with us. We're going to watch your reporting on this and keep us updated as the story continues to unfold.
Sure thing.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon.